everyone. I'm Dr. Neda. I'm a single mom of 2 teenage sons whom I love and, like every parent, want the very best for. I consider myself a very strong woman capable of doing many different things. I grew up in Middle East where I witnessed firsthand women fighting for their rights on a daily basis. So you can imagine how thrilled I am with the rise of the divine feminine in human consciousness. Although it's a paradigm that's slow to change and it's encountering a lot of resistance, I see glimmers of light everywhere, including at my boys' all-military school, where they've appointed the first female president in the 110 years of the school's history. What concerns me is that pendulums tend to swing from one polarity to another, and I'm concerned that masculine energy will not be respected and honored, and it will lead to more separation between men and women. In a perfect world, we will find a balance between divine masculine and feminine polarities. In doing so, we can unravel the division that impacts us all. This is the reason why I'm inspired to do these interviews, to shine a light on a positive balance. So what is a divine masculine? What does it entail and what does it bring forth? Men in their positive polarities, they're calm, they're centered, they're supportive, they're secure, rational, and very reasonable. They are clear-minded and action-oriented. They're powerful and decisive, and they guide with courage and self-discipline. They're reflective thinkers who passionately guide and help others. These extraordinary men are the ones who lead from their hearts and not with their emotional egos. The wonderful men that I'm privileged to interview are the reflective of the positive polarity of divine masculine. These are quality men who are strong, respectable, honorable, and really deserve to be celebrated. Please go ahead and hit that like button, comment, ask questions, share, and subscribe. You're a very valuable part of this movement, and your opinion really matters. Thank you very much. Light, love, and blessings to you all.
I've had couples in coaching where both of them are in the needs. Mm-hmm. Both of them are, it's you owe me this, and you, like, all about what you're not giving me. And what the Course in Miracles says, only what you give
you get to keep.
Will you ever get.
That's
and
true.
It also says, only what you're not giving, or what you are not giving, is what you're never going to get.
That's correct.
So if we shift our mindset around love as how I can give, and in giving we receive.
Yes.
You know, there's nothing that feels better when you lit up your partner and your partner is across from you and you do something, a gift, a gesture, you know, an expression, a letter, a something, and you draw them to tears. They're receiving that gift, they're crying, they're emotional, and what do you feel inside? When they get to that emotion, you feel that. So literally what you give is actually what you're receiving. And actually, the Course in Miracles will go one step further and say, there's only one of us here.
Yes.
There's only one of us here. We're all one. So we get to stop this separation. I don't like politics. I don't like divisiveness. You and I are members of a group that has started called A Dream to Bring the World Together, really bringing world unity. And what I want to convey, and I'm not the only person, there's many people doing this, is that we're all one. You talk about Ubuntu.
Yes.
And you mentioned to me Ubuntu last night, and it's this story of the psychologists and researchers were going to Africa, and they approached a village where these kids are starving, you know, malnutritioned, and they brought some food, and they thought, oh, well, this will be a fun little game. Let's do a little race. The kids could race, and, you know, the winner would get some extra little special food or something. And then as they got these kids to take this race in Africa, all the kids lined up, held each other's hands,
yes,
and they walked across the line. And the researchers were dumbfounded. They're probably thinking, why don't we do this in America?
Yes,
why don't we do
really?
this in every country in the world? And then when they asked these young little kids, how, like, to be that wise at so young, what made you think of that? What made you decide to do that? And the kids said, what good is it me winning the award and my brother or my sister is hungry?
Exactly.
And they said, I am because we are. And so, again, this is getting back to what we talked about in the beginning, the heart. We do need the mind, not the ego. We do need the mind. And that's for another topic, talking about in each person, each man, the man has a physical body, but what Jungian psychology, Carl Jung, Swiss psychologist, psychoanalyst, discovered or came up with a postulation, him and his work with Sigmund Freud shared that the masculine body has also a feminine soul. And the feminine body also has a masculine soul. So it's another topic. Getting to the other side. There's the rational mind. We need that.
Absolutely.
We also need the emotional side. And to the degree that we're connected both, but not imbalanced in one or the other, we are the full expression of what you've been talking about, which is you want to acknowledge men and women for being all.
Absolutely.
All of it, centered, powerful, vulnerable, heart-centered, and all these things. It's connecting to both aspects. So then when you talk about people in love and getting in a relationship, that's why I said the very first thing you need to do is love yourself. Because the person that you're looking for could be a displaced desire to connect to your opposite. So the man that is looking for a woman in his life, it could be that he needs to connect to his, what Carl Jung talked about, the anima, his feminine soul. And now he can be a masculine man connected to his feminine soul, and now he can be a whole being that can enter into a relationship with a woman who's also her feminine body connected to her masculine soul called the animus. And now you have two whole beings coming together. They're not there to get. They're there to add and enrich. And so you asked, what's another thing that we need to do? We need to heal. A lot of people are disconnected from the other polarity. They have woundedness, or like I talked about in the beginning of this interview, through the trauma of my childhood and all that, having the armor, not being able to be open-hearted, not because I'm a bad person or I don't love anybody, but because I was wounded. Absolutely. Right? My mentor, I'm a miracle-minded coach, as you know, through the Course of Miracles, and also personally trained and certified by Marianne Williamson. She says, this wounded self person is meeting this wounded self, and it's a shit show. I mean, she doesn't use the word shit show, but I do. It's just this disaster meets disaster, because both sides are wounded.
Yes.
So we heal, and we no longer bring our woundedness, right? And I'm going to be honest, there was a time and a few years back that I wasn't proud. Even being in a positive place in my life, there was a person who was, how I experienced it, was being very disrespectful at the table, and my sons were there. And I know that he has another side of it, so there's two sides of every story. But I was, in that moment, I was not able to take care of myself. I was getting triggered. How could he say that? My sons are here. This is the first time we're all getting together. I got triggered. And my coach, Paul, because all coaches have great coaches. Every CEO, every president of the United States of America has advisors and coaches. If you don't have 5 coaches in your life, or at least 3 or 2 or 1, good luck doing anything, because a coach is able to see things that you can't see. We're all in a bubble, right? And we have, like you're driving a car, we have our blind spots.
Yes.
And it's our blind spots where we get triggered. We've talked about triggers. Yes. Where we get triggered and we react, where we sabotage those relationships. We end up hurting people. Hurt people end up hurting other people. So healing that and bringing our best self to a relationship, and it is all really the same thing, is we must heal. Right? People ask, well, how do you create your future by design? Jungian psychology has a very wise idea on that. I ask people in my seminars, how do you create your future? How did I create my future? Do you create it here in the now? You create your future? Do you go out in the future, create your future? Or do you go to the past? Is it now, future, or past? Answer that question. How do you create your future?
That's
is it
a
in the now?
Question. That's
is it in the future? Or is it in the past? Well, no one ever says the past. That doesn't even make any sense. Why would you create your future in the past? That doesn't even make any sense. We create your now and future in the now, they say. Some people may say in the future. Jungian psychology, Carl Jung, the Swiss psychologist I shared with you, most people know about him. He says the only way you can create your future by design is you actually have to heal your past. You have to go into the past and heal the past. He says because you have patterns of behaviors that started in the past and your triggers, your woundedness, and you basically carry those, Course in Miracles calls them monsters, dark shadows of your past, and you take that unwoundedness and those issues and those trust issues and those fear issues, and you project those into the now, creating a future that looks identical as the pain in the past. So the only way to create your future by design is actually going into the past, healing and letting go, and creating a moment where you are now able to be in the present moment, which is why everybody should watch Kung Fu Panda. Kung Fu Panda, it says, the past is a mystery, the future is a mystery. The past is history. The only time is now. And it's a gift. That's why we call it the present moment. We're able to heal the past. We're able not to live in the future in the worry and doom and anxiety of the future. We're able to detach from both of these and able to get into the now. Then that's when the miracle happens.
Yes.
Right.
Absolutely.
And the Course talks about God's time or the universe's time intersects with mankind's time at a specific moment called the now, the present moment.
That's beautiful. Well, as you always do with me or did with me with our coaching sessions, what are the 3 takeaways we can ask the audience from?
So I would say this, that first I want to so appreciate you, Dr. Neda, for the universe choosing you and for you answering the call.
Well, thank you.
Changing people's lives.
I mean, the universe called and the universe brought you. The universe did so much work for me to be sitting here. Really. So thank you. Really. Thank you.
Most people know of the most famous artists, as I think of what you just shared, famous artist, sculptor of all time, Michelangelo.
Yes.
And Michelangelo was asked, how do you create such perfect pieces of art? The statue of David, the statue of Moses, the paintings on the 16th chapel. And he says, I go to a quarry. He says, in that moment, the universe, source, God, inspires this image of this sculpture in this block of marble. He says, I take this block of marble back to my workplace. I take a chisel and a hammer, and I start to chip away and remove all the excess marble, leaving nothing but your truth.
Yes.
And he said to the interviewer, he says, I look at life, I look at everything this way. He says, the perfect you, the unstoppable you, the powerful you, the you that is the one that is going to have the impact, that's going to change the world, is in you. It's always been in you. It was in you before you were born. And all we get to do is remove this stuff that doesn't serve.
Yes.
It could be.
And you have done an amazing job. I'm a perfect example
and
of
you're
it.
like super toned. She's like, I see watching videos of you doing your kickboxing, and I'm like, wow, she's getting her leg pretty high up there. And I hear the hit. Got a lot. This is you are a powerhouse, Dr. Neda.
Thank you, Kaya.
And we're going to do incredible things together.
Yes, we are. And I really appreciate you, the man that you are, the balance that you have within you, the coaching you've done with me, and what you're doing for the planet. Really, it's very admirable. And thank you so much for being here.
Yes. You mentioned the 3 takeaways.
Yes.
Please.
As you do with me.
As you're watching this show, just know that you're here for a reason. The universe, social media marketing gurus also, we'll put that in there too. You're here for a reason. And something that you shared, your presence, your aura, your energy, something that I shared, something that came from this. What are your 3 takeaways?
Yes.
What are the 3 things? And remember, there's a huge difference between knowledge and applied knowledge. So write down your 3 takeaways. What's something that you got from this interview that would help you and change your life or take your life to the next level? And then how can you take steps to make those changes? And if you want additional support, we're here. You can find us.
Yes.
Not too hard to find.
Absolutely.
And we can support you in any way, shape, or form for you to be the best version of yourself, whether it's career, money, family, relationships, intimate relationships, health, fitness, personal growth, self-development, spirituality, so that we together, all of us, can raise the vibration of the world. You did ask me, why is, Christine Roger, she's a very successful PR lady that's working with us in the Best You Expo. She says, why is there this movement, this awakening, this consciousness? And in the video, we talked about it. We have pretended long enough to not be who we really are.
Yes.
Love is who we are. Love is who we are today and here to shine. And now there's just more and more people that are awakened to who we really are and no longer pretending to be who we're not. So be our best version of ourselves. Thank you.
Thank
Dr.
you,
Neda.
Kaya. God bless you, really, thank you. I'm actually privileged and honored to have Mr. Jonathan Nazanin in our show today.
Everyone's belief system, what has worked for me is believing in God the Father.
That's beautiful. How do you stay in your heart center?
What are the things that are entrusted with me as a husband, as a loved one, as a father, as a son, as a brother?
A lot of things are changing, but I think if we keep the balance and polarities in place,
I don't think I could agree with you even more than what you just said, but I think...
Please go ahead and hit that like button, comment, ask questions, share, and subscribe. You're a very valuable part of this movement, and your opinion really matters. Thank you very much. Light, love, and blessings to you all.